I remember ordering while my entire relationship quietly collapsed in my hands. And the worst part? I didn't find out from my girlfriend. I found out from her best friend, who had no idea I was still in the dark. That single moment changed everything I thought I knew about the woman I had planned my future with. If you've ever been betrayed by someone you trusted, or even just want to hear a story where the truth comes out in the most unexpected way, stick around. And if you enjoy stories like this, hit like, subscribe, and let's get into it. I'm 28. My girlfriend Sarah is 27. We'd been together almost 3 years. Not the flashy kind of relationship you post every day online, but the steady kind. The kind where you don't question things, where routines feel safe. Where moving in together last year felt less like a big decision and more like the natural next step. We had our rhythm. Morning coffee, shared groceries, lazy weekends where we'd argue over what to watch, but always end up laughing about it. No major fights, no cheating accusations, no gut feelings that something was off. Or at least, that's what I believed. Sarah had a best friend named Claudia. They'd known each other since college. I was never threatened by her, never suspicious. Claudia was just there, friendly, present at gatherings, someone I'd chat with without thinking twice. If anything, I thought it was nice. Sarah having a friend she was that close to. Looking back now, that trust is what makes everything worse. Because I wasn't just trusting Sarah. I was trusting the entire world around her, too. It happened on an ordinary afternoon. I was at a coffee shop near my place. Nothing special, just grabbing caffeine and answering emails. And then I saw Claudia. She waved, I waved back. Small talk started naturally. How work was, how Sarah was doing, normal stuff. Until she said something that didn't fit the world I thought I was living in. She smiled slightly and said, "Yeah, I really hope things settle down for you guys soon. Sarah told me you've been having a rough patch." I remember blinking at her. A rough patch? We hadn't been having a rough patch. Not even close. Things had been fine. Normal. Predictable. So I laughed a little and said something vague like, "Oh, yeah, didn't realize that." And that's when I saw it. Her expression shifted. Not dramatically, not like in movies. Just a tiny flicker, like a switch being flipped behind her eyes. She hesitated, then added, carefully, "You know, with everything going on with her and Jake." Jake. That name didn't exist in my life. I didn't recognize it, didn't place it anywhere, didn't connect it to anything. I just stared at her, and I watched her realize in real time that something was wrong. Her face went still, then pale, and she quietly said, "Oh." That single sound carried more meaning than anything else she had said in the entire conversation. She suddenly said she had to go, and she left. Just like that. No explanation, no clarification. Just the sound of her footsteps fading while I stood there completely frozen, holding a coffee I couldn't taste anymore. I didn't go home immediately. I just stood outside for a while, trying to rationalize it. Maybe it was a misunderstanding. Maybe Jake was a coworker of hers and Claudia got confused. Maybe I misheard. But deep down, I already knew. Because there's a specific feeling when denial starts losing to reality. It's not loud. It's quiet. It's just your stomach dropping a little further every second you don't find a better explanation. When I finally got home, Sarah was there. She was on the couch, phone in hand. Normal. Too normal. I remember how strange it felt. How the world outside had already changed for me. But she was still sitting there like nothing had shifted. I didn't ease into it. I just asked, "Who's Jake?" And everything stopped. Not metaphorically. She actually froze. Her face drained of color in a way I didn't think is possible outside of movies. And that silence, that long, suffocating silence, told me more than any answer could have. Eventually she spoke. Jake was someone she worked with. They'd been seeing each other for about 4 months. 4 months. And the part that hit hardest wasn't even the cheating. It was what came after. She said, almost weakly, "I was going to tell you." That sentence, "I was going to tell you." Like betrayal becomes softer if you delay admitting it. Like intention matters more than action. 4 months of "I was going to." And not once did she actually do it. We're not together anymore. That part was immediate. There was no negotiation, no long, dramatic argument. Just an ending. But what didn't end was the replay. Because the mind doesn't let you off easily. It replays details you didn't even know you were storing. Sarah's voice saying "Jake" like it was normal. There's something uniquely destabilizing about finding out your reality was shared with everyone except you. It makes you question every conversation, every memory, every normal day you thought you had. People always expect revenge stories to be loud. Explosive confrontations, dramatic exposés, some big cinematic payoff. But sometimes, the most painful consequence is just truth becoming unavoidable. Because once it was out, Sarah couldn't control the narrative anymore. Claudia knew I didn't know. I knew everything. And suddenly, the illusion she had been maintaining for 4 months collapsed in a single conversation she never meant for me to hear. There was no need for me to yell. No need for theatrics. The situation handled itself. The truth did what it always does when it's finally allowed into the room. It destroyed the version of events that wasn't real and left only what was. The hardest part wasn't anger. It wasn't even heartbreak. It was acceptance, hitting in waves. Not all at once, but slowly. Like realizing a room you've been sitting in has been filling with water the entire time. And now you're finally noticing you can't breathe the way you used to. Sarah tried to explain things later. But explanations don't fix timelines. They don't erase months. They don't restore trust that was never given a chance to survive. And deep down, I think she knew that too. Because some damage isn't negotiable. Some things, once revealed, don't go back into hiding. What stays with me isn't anger anymore. It's clarity. Because betrayal doesn't always arrive loudly. Sometimes it's just a name you don't recognize, casually mentioned in a coffee shop conversation, that quietly unravels everything you thought was stable. And once you hear it, you can't unhear it. If this story hit you in that uncomfortable place where trust and doubt collide, let me know in the comments. What would you have done in that coffee shop? And if you want more real-life stories like this, raw, emotional, and brutally honest, hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.